We have reached a point where people cannot trust what's real anymore. The line between AI and people is starting to get pretty fucking blurry. Videos, messages, ads, everything feels automated, everything feels AI-ish. People don't trust it anymore, and by 2026, a lot of businesses are gonna be out of business. Not because their ads are bad, not because their offer is bad, but because they run on systems that cannot survive on this new reality, on this new era.
Hey, have you heard the big news?
Hey, wait, why are we whispering?
I'm just trying to add some drama, okay? Because
Target window opens in 4 hours. We hit hard, we hit fast.
Just say when.
When the alarms stop. Until then, keep running.
If you run ads or get leads or post content organically, in this video I'm gonna break down the whole system. Not to just survive in 2026, but actually win. My name is Vicente. I build follow-up systems for businesses, especially for dreams. And I've been seeing the same trend all the time. It goes like the following: ooh, I think I have an ad problem. No, you don't. There's no ad problem. You only have a system problem. People opt in, people show interest, and they disappear. Where are the leads? Nobody knows. In this video, I'm gonna break down everything, the whole roadmap, on how to actually start creating content on this new AI-generated era, to actually follow up with the leads, make them show up, and on the way to make sure we qualify them. So let's start from the beginning. So for this video, put together this beautiful diagram. It took me a while. We're gonna go through the ad creation process. Then over here is pretty much making sure we qualify them on the way, follow up, few tactics and insights you learn along the way that we're gonna share with you completely by free. Because I'm not a full-time content creation as you guys, but there is a pretty good strategy that I'm gonna show you right now that's gonna allow you to get 150 pieces of content per week. So the first step, you need to identify your audience. And by that, of course, okay, what's your ICP? Who are you trying to target? Because if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody. So in this case, let's assume you're talking to woman. Oh, what is woman? That's not enough. Let's put a year. 40 to 50 years old. Let's say the local area here in Miami. Because, why? Because we're located in Miami. What else? Let's say they're overweight, and let's say they got family. And by family, I mean 2 children. And just make sure to target and be speaking to this specific ICP. And if you do that, your leads are gonna feel pretty heard. If you've been seeing my other videos, you most likely know this stuff. But this is a new one, and I wanna break it down really quick, is, okay, you define the ICP, you know who you're talking to, but that ICP has different stages of how aware it is of actually the problem they're facing. Start as level 1, which is like mostly aware. Then they go to most aware, product aware, solution aware, problem aware, and unaware. And the more aware they're about the problem, the most likely they're gonna convert into your offer, right? So it's pretty straightforward. When you start running your ads, they usually start over here. They're super profitable. You do like 1, 2 variations, but then eventually that poll is pretty small. So then you start noticing that the effectiveness of the ad starts going down. And that's because initially you start getting these ones, the people who are more aware of the problem. But then that poll gets smaller, 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 because you start converting those leads. And then eventually they go to product aware, and solution aware, and problem aware, and then unaware. And the thing is, like, you have to target your ad specifically on how problem awareness are they. For example, if someone's most aware, as you can see over here, well, you can just do spots are open for our next 6-week challenge. Starts Monday. They know the 6-week challenge. Probably they have tried another ones. They know the product. They know that there's a solution. But let's say you already got all these guys. So then you go to product aware. Well, the messaging is similar, yes, but it does start to change a little bit. 3 local 6-week challenge wins. Not driving that much, probably with actually, hey, let's start going, but maybe with a few testimonials, with a few transformation images, whatever. But then it starts getting tricky, because if you go to solution aware, need a fast reset. Our 3 to 6 week challenge includes workouts, simple nutrition, coaching. But over here you can see, need a quick reset. You're not selling directly the 6 week challenge. Now you're selling actually, hey, you're super fucking tired, you need a break. Or your health is horrible. Let's try this one. And that's what you're actually trying to sell. You're trying to sell the solution. But then it gets even more tricky because they're not solution aware. They don't know their solution. They don't know that the 6 week challenge is the solution, that going to the gym is the solution. And for this one, for example, feel stuck. Even though you're trying, if your scale won't move, it's usually one of 3 things. 1, the quick check. Now you can see the change of the messaging. Because if you go with the 6 week challenge, as we did at the beginning, to these type of audiences, to the one problem aware, you're gonna get nobody. They're not solution aware. They got no clue about a 6 week challenge. The only thing they know is that they're obese, that they're walking and they're out of breath. They know they're unhealthy and they don't know the right solution for them. The most unprofitable the ads start to get, but the bigger the poll is. So if you figure out a really good ad performing on the problem aware stage, good for you. Like the poll is pretty fucking big. And then if you go to unaware, for example, the whole messaging is completely opposite. It's like you got an obese guy, but he's not aware that he's obese somehow. So for example, quick question. If you had energy in 21 days, what would you do differently? The whole messaging changes. So what I want you to get out of this is make sure to align the stage of the problem that the lead is currently in and tailor the message towards them. So again, if they are solution aware, sell them the solution. If they're problem aware, sell them the problem. If they're unaware, good luck. Well, you never probably thought about doing ads this way, but believe me, what's coming next is actually gonna blow your minds, because this is what actually gonna make the difference, because you're gonna flood the internet with different ad variations. Stay with me. And this is the part I told you that you can get 150 variations of ads just by recording a single day. And this goes like the following. Nobody knows what is actually gonna hit. It's just purely trial and error. Doing this assembly process is pretty fucking simple. You record 50 different hooks. Why so many hooks? Well, because if the hook is not good enough, people are not gonna stop to watch it. Why would you spend more time in the meat, for example, and actually the body of the content if nobody's getting to that point? So record multiple hooks, then record 3 to 5 the body of the message. For example, you have one that is specifically for solution aware, another one that is specifically for problem aware. And then you record 1 to 3 call to actions. Why? Well, because there's not much to change over there. The real task here is actually, it's the hook. It's getting the people to actually watch the ad. If you start playing around with the body, nobody gives a shit, because nobody has stopped to watch your video. And you do this, and once you have 50 and let's say 3 to 5 meets, and you got 1 to 3 call to actions, just put them together. And if you do that, you're gonna have a ton of different variations of ads. You run all of those, and the ones who actually perform pretty fucking good, you double down on those ones, and you kill all the rest. And then you repeat every week, and you're gonna have so many variations to actually test. And the thing is, you're gonna be recording so many hooks, and the hook is where the money is. If you get the attention of people, you'll be good. But if people are actually scrolling, they don't stop to watch your ad, that's where the problem is. And people start tweaking so fast the body and the call to action. And probably the only thing they gotta do actually is just fixing the first 5 seconds of the ad and just making a ton of fucking variations out of it. You will post all these ad variations and you will find a winner. And what you do? Well, you just double down on the one that actually is a winner. Just make sure to call out who you're looking for. Especially for you, for gyms. Location is such a big factor for you guys. It doesn't make sense if you're located in Miami to get clients out of Texas or Austin, Texas, whatever. Doesn't make sense. So make sure to call out who you're looking for. For example, I put over here, a woman, 45, 50 years old, Miami in Florida. Will you get less people to convert? Yes, but you're gonna get much better qualified leads, because obviously if you see Miami, Florida, and if you're in Chicago, you're not gonna opt in. Once you find the winner, you double down on the winner, then you scale the same ad. Then you get a lead capture, opt-in form, nothing fancy. I do recommend adding 1-2 questions over there so we actually differentiate between the people who are just opting in because of being in their board and actually who are somehow searching for a solution. The lead form is opting in, and then you funnel them to a booking sequence where they have a calendar. You can add probably a VSL if you want to. Probably not all of them. People are not gonna book an appointment because it's a lot to ask right away to a lead who just saw you randomly in Instagram scrolling because they were in the bed, and you're asking them for a time, for 30 an hour of their time, and they gotta drive all the way to your gym. So if you thought this ad process was good, well, let me tell you that what's coming next is gonna blow your minds, because here's where the actually money is made. Stick with me. Did they book? If no, they go this way. Then you gotta understand lead segmentation. What does that mean? Well, if you're wondering where I'm getting all this information, well, I got references for this one. One Page Marketing Plan, great book actually, pretty simple. If you're just starting with marketing, it's actually pretty awesome because of the simplicity of it. 3% of people who opted in are ready to buy, are ready to get whatever that you're offering. 7% are very open to buying. But guess what? Those ones need a little bit of follow-up. Then 30%, they're interested, but not right now. And that means, yeah, I'm gonna be open, keep me in touch, but I want you to keep educating me. Then, well, you got not interested, and then eventually you got the ones. Well, I won't even get it if you pay me. But know that people and most ad agencies, they fight for the 3% so hard, and they leave the 37%. For capturing the 7%, you gotta put enough volume to actually get in touch with the lead. That means calling them, SMS, email, you got other messaging, whatever, use them. I've broken down in another video, so go check it out. And I'm pretty sure you guys are not doing this much volume because I know you guys are gonna say, I don't wanna be annoying. I don't wanna be that guy who's like just always calling the people. Well, know that it's not being annoying, it's caring more for the person. If someone opts in, they're most likely not going to the gym, they're most likely unhealthy, they're most likely obese. If you don't do anything, they're gonna stay the same way. So you following up with them, call it spammy. But you either convert that lead or they either opt out. If they opt out, well, whatever. But the ones who actually you get in contact with, at least you get a chance to fixing the problem. You get a chance to actually make their lives better. So understand that it's not spamming, it's not annoying people. It's actually caring about the problems. So if you put together this follow-up right away, for example, they opt in right away, you call them in the first 5 minutes, then you leave a voicemail if they didn't pick up. Then you send a text immediately after. Then you wait a few hours and then you double dial again. And then you text again 2 or 3 hours later. And then you text again later that day. Then day 2, day 3, and maybe day 4, you call twice per day. You'll always leave a message, drop an email sometimes. And day 4 and 7, you call once per day. You text after each call. If you use an email, make sure to not use it at the same way. So use SMS and dialing as a way to actually to sell the free consultation, the free 6-week challenge or whatever, but don't use the email the same way. Use email as a way to provide value and use the super signatures. That means just provide value, and then at the end you just put like, okay, stay strong, be sent, and you put PS. Whenever you're ready, here's a free consultation, a self-scheduling link. That's the follow-up system, and we manage something called the 4 pillars. If any of these pillars in your follow-up system is not in place, the whole thing is gonna collapse. You make availability easy for the lead and not for you. Speed to lead, personalization, and volume. Volume is probably the most important one, and people don't understand the amount of volume that requires to actually get the lead to answer. And over here, obviously, if you don't get the lead to show up, you put them into lead nurture sequences where you keep providing value through email mainly. Then, what if they book an appointment? Well, is it 2 or 3 days out? If it is yes, you call them. Why? Well, because the more far away the visit is, the appointment, the less likely it is that they're gonna show up. For example, same day appointments, 80% show up rates. Next day appointments, 60 to 70. 3+ days out is 40% or less show up rate. So why wouldn't you just call him, pick up the phone and be like, dude, Sarah, Daniel just got an opening for today, in about 2 hours, that never happens. He's awesome. He has helped multiple people like you within yours and blah, 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 blah. And I guarantee you that lead is actually most likely to show up than the guy who booked an appointment for 3 days in advance. And the reason we do this also is so you start creating this little relationship with the client. You get them to say yes, you get them to know you, they get you to engage a little bit more than just an appointment booked in a random ad. So that's the reason we like to call them. I actually got this one from Mr. Hormozy. Mr. Hormozy, do you wanna podcast? Whatever he's looking, he's watching this little channel about GMs, know that I'm getting some pretty good insights out of your books, especially the playbooks. The playbooks are sweet. And this is just a little thing, again, to build rapport and get them to say yes, so they will most likely show up to the meeting. For example, this Hormozy tactic is, do you consider yourself a person of integrity? You see it, you say that in the call. And you're like, of course. Well, great, because we only do business with people who have the same values as us. And when we say we're going to be somewhere, we mean it. So are you the type of person who keeps their commitments? Yes. Great, we're going to send you 3 reminders between now and then to do our part to help you keep that commitment. We're excited to see you. Is this your cell phone number? Now you can see the example. If you do that in the call, at least you get them to say yes. We want them to agree, to agree, to agree, to agree. So eventually, hopefully they're gonna show up. Again, micro commitments. For whatever reason, the guy was out of town, so we needed to book him, for example, 2 weeks in advance. Make sure to call the lead 1 day before the appointment. Same thing as restaurants do. Do the same thing to actually confirm, because if it's probably like more than 3 days, they will most likely forget about the appointment. Then, well, did they show? This is an important one. If they don't show, well, you just take them over here and you repeat the process, and you most likely just put them through here, through a follow-up system, to try to reactivate them and try to actually make them show again. Did they show? Yes. Well, you make some money. I mean, hopefully you got a pretty decent close rate. And by the way, close rate should be like around 70%. If it's not around 70%, you got a qualifying problem. You don't have a selling problem. You're just not qualifying your leads enough until they show up to your gym. So make sure to qualify your leads so you can start flexing on your closing rates. So that should be it. Hopefully it didn't get too long. I just want to break it down pretty quickly. First, you run the ads. You identify the ICP, who are you talking to, and then on what stage of problem and where are they. And then you tailor the message towards that. Once you do that, you use the ad assembly process. You record 50 hooks, 3 to 5 minutes, and 1 to 3 call to actions. And you put so many variations and you put them all live. Why? Because nobody knows what's gonna hit. So just do it. And once you have 150 different variations, well, guess what? You analyze the numbers. Oh, this one's doing pretty fucking good. Double down on that one, triple down, and kill all the rest, and just go with the top 5, and then top 3, top 1, until you actually find the winner, and you go all in on that one. Again, you call out who you're looking for. Avoid the unqualified leads. Your time is attention, your time is money. Again, once you find the winner, you scale the winner. Again, opt-in form, I do recommend adding 1-2 questions so we can actually differentiate between the people who are just scrolling through Instagram doing nothing with their lives and the ones who actually are like, oh, maybe I'm out of shape. Did they book in the opt-in form? If not, you know that only 3% of people are ready to buy. So you understand that 37% of the market is still alive for you. For that 7%, you follow up with them with either automations or AI agents or personalized. You apply this volume. This is pretty conservative, by the way. I just want to be clear. And make sure you always, in your follow-up system, you got availability, speed, personalization, and volume. And do not neglect volume. And then for the 30% who went through a follow-up system, didn't convert, put them in email sequences and provide them value. If you create content, share the content through there. So that's pretty much for the lead follow-up. If they book an appointment, it's a 2 or 3 days out. Yes, well, you call them so we can increase the shop rates. Build this relationship. You get them to say yes. They will most likely feel bad for not showing up. Did they show? No? Well, we put them back to the follow-up system. Did they show? Yes, awesome. Hopefully you qualified them enough so you can start flexing on your 80% closing rates at your gym. I'm gonna put this diagram in the description. We put together 2 trainings, one for actually putting together pretty sweet ads, which breaks down in a little bit more detail all this ad assembly process. Also, we got a training for lead follow-up system. Feel free to check it out. And if you need help with the lead follow-up system, you probably have automations, probably have personalizations, which is good for you. It will probably get you to 15% show-up rates out of all the people who opted in. If you wanna increase the numbers to 25% or maybe even 30% in some specific cases, if the offer of the gym is really good, feel free to book a free appointment. It really depends where your starting point. But I'm pretty sure those show-up rates, they can be higher, 100%. If you actually apply this 4 pillars: availability, speed, personalization, and volume. We do that by replacing regular automations or doing the stuff manually. Who does the stuff manually in 2025, almost 2026 at this point? Use AI agents. Why? Because as I told you at the beginning, the line between what's real and what's AI, it's getting really gray. You should take advantage that nobody knows what's real. And if you put together this with pretty sweet AI agents as the lead follow-up, ads training in the description, lead follow-up system on how you can increase the show-up rates out of the same amount of leads you're currently getting in the description too. And if you want to book an appointment so you can get those show-up rates skyrocket, feel free to book an appointment with us.